When it comes to gender, girls are girls, boys are boys. End of story. Or is it? A growing number of people say they were born in the wrong body, and they're doing something about it.
It's definitely a penis, but you can't pee through it.
3 biological women make the final transition into manhood.
See you, honey.
Bye.
He's always going to be the man I love, no matter what's between his legs.
All come to the same hospital and the same doctor on the same day.
I've been planning this surgery for actually years.
Converging on a dusty frontier town considered the country's sex change capital, they've come to make their bodies,
About a thumb size, not too bad.
match their minds.
All right, thank you.
My name's Eric. I'm 38 years old. I live in a small town in Wyoming. I like it here. I think it's a great place to live.
Eric looks like your average guy next door. He has 2 daughters. He does odd jobs.
Coming in through here, or
No, it's that shed right
that one right there?
And he works part-time at the local gift shop in town, which helps him pay for the bachelor's degree he's pursuing at the University of Montana.
And it's half off that marked price.
Upon closer inspection, though, Eric is anything but your average guy next door. In fact, up until 7 years ago, Eric wasn't a guy at all.
I mean, when I'm 5 years old, I'm definitely cute, I think, you know. Most of my childhood I remember is off running and playing and riding my bike and just being really busy and running around. And I had liked playing the boy games. In school, I liked playing the little, throwing the football, and we'd run and chase each other.
Growing up, Diane is affectionately referred to as a tomboy, but she knows her lack of femininity goes far deeper than that.
I wasn't into things that all the other girls were into in school, and a lot of the sleepovers and the running around chasing boys and a lot of that stuff. I knew something was different, and I isolated myself a lot. It's hard to be friends with people when you feel like there's something wrong with you.
As Diane hits puberty, just how different she feels from the other girls becomes abundantly clear. A visit back to unleashes a flood of memories.
I was like probably one of those kids that didn't have any friends, or I don't know. That's what it felt like to me.
By her teens, Diane realizes she's bisexual. It leaves her feeling confused. She deals with her inner conflict by using drugs and alcohol.
I remember I was 16, and I remember meeting a girl that I definitely was like, whoa, what's going on? I feel really weird, and realizing that I had a crush on her. I didn't pursue it, and I started running around and going to more parties and drinking more and stuffing my feelings. That was not too bad, is it?
Well, put it on long enough that I can see it.
It's a youth cap. See my bald spot, with the summer I have to start thinking about that with the sun.
Back in high school, Lisa is one of the few people Diane into her solitary life. They're still friends today.
Diane pretty much kept to herself. I think me and my friends were about the only friends that she hung out with at that time, and she had a whole nother secret life that it was just kind of a known fact that we didn't ask her about it. You could always tell that she was holding something back.
But that something is a mystery, even to Diane. She doesn't understand what's happening within herself. She just knows something is off. Her life finally starts coming into focus when she sees a TV talk show. The subject, transgenderism.
It was overwhelming. It left a lot of questions to me, and I think after that I almost felt more messed up, weird, wrong, because I knew now I was even more different than the people that I was around.
Diane has stumbled across her elusive answer, but it would be several more years before she's ready to Then there are other young girls who know from an early age exactly what's happening to them. Girls like Patricia.
I was very pretty, blonde hair, blue-eyed, and the cashiers at the grocery store would be like, "You're such a pretty little girl," and I would just say, "I'm not a girl, I'm a boy." And of course, my mother would just be embarrassed to, every time we come out of the grocery store, "Don't ever say that again. You are a little girl, you're never gonna be a little boy." And I said, "Yes, I am."
But as sure as Patricia is about her desire to be a boy, and as sure as she is that she's a lesbian, she still makes an effort to conceal any and all unconventional feelings.
I think people could tell I was attracted to females. So I dated boys. I went to prom. I wanted to be in the tux. I had been engaged to be married twice before. I think part of, well, that way, I thought if I did that long enough, maybe I would become the female body I was born into.
To keep up the exhausting masquerade, Patricia marries young, at 20. She quickly gets pregnant, having 4 children over the next 6 years. Certainly a tough time for any woman. But for Patricia, it's sheer torture. She's miserable, and it shows.
When I was Patricia, I was size 22 in women's. I was 5'5", probably close to 240 pounds. I don't remember a lot because I didn't want to be in that body. I look at the pictures and think, I don't even really know that person. I just know they hurt.
Life with 4 children under the age of 6 can't be further from her life just a few years earlier. As an Army E-4 specialist, at least she was free to travel the world. Now, she's tethered to her babies at home, and not under the best of circumstances.
I nursed the younger 2 because of money. I don't remember their births a lot. It really is just a matter of you're watching your life and just hoping it'll please end soon.
But then, Patricia's life takes a radical turn. Just like Eric, she too sees a TV program about people changing their gender.
That was the big light bulb that said, I'm entitled to live one life who I am.
Elated, the first person Patricia confides in is her mother. But the reaction isn't what she's been hoping for.
She said, because of the children, please wait. And it was a situation where if I waited, there wasn't going to be a parent available to my children. So it was either transition or confirm my gender so that everyone could see who I was all the time, or I wasn't going to live.
Now resolved to call himself Patrick, he enters therapy, waiting 3 months to tell the kids about his life-changing development. Their mother is about to become their father. 2 women, both determined to begin living their lives as men. Both begin to make the physical transformation. They start taking testosterone and become more male in their appearance. As far as most people can tell, they are men. But there is something they're missing that they say will make them feel more complete. When we come back, do the genitals make the man? Eric, Patrick, and this dog handler from North Carolina go on a journey to acquire what nature never gave them.
It's something that I feel if I look down, that's something I should have, even if it's small.
And inside the operating room,
It's not big, but it works and it's real. Okay, thank you.
When Born in the Wrong Body continues. In Lewisburg, North Carolina, deep in the heart of Confederate country, a man and a woman live happily as husband and wife. They've been together 20 years. They work together, they spend their free time together, and like most couples, they wrestle with the usual household chores.
Did you get your bills taken care of?
No,
I haven't either. I wanted to get those in the mail.
On the surface, there's nothing out of the ordinary about them. But as you may have guessed by now, this Southern gentleman has a remarkable story to tell.
My name is Macklin Davis McCord. I'm 59 years old. I'm an artist, a writer, a musician, a dog handler. Yes, Wicket, honey, move. Hey, Princess! That's rude. I've recently moved to North Carolina and operate a dog kennel here and show dogs for people. And I'm finishing my journey towards fully transitioning into a male body. Come on, girl. In you go. Yeah. Good boy.
What makes Mac's story different from many transgender men is, when he was living as a female, he never tried to fit the heterosexual standard by getting married and having children. He never saw the point of going through the motions. From an early age, Mac, then Carol, is more masculine than feminine, which at first is no big deal.
I grew up until I was 6 in Tennessee, and I think being a tomboy, even back then, was fairly acceptable up to a certain age. The older I got, the more unacceptable that behavior became. I know as I started to hit, and I was pretty much appalled at hitting puberty as a female, my parents actually said at one time, you could have a sex change operation, but you'd have to be put in a mental institution. So I think at that point, whatever feelings I had, that way were completely quashed.
Instead, in her late 20s, Carol comes out as a lesbian, which her mother suspects, but does not accept. Carol joins the Army at 31 and is still on active duty 7 years later, in 1986, when she meets a young mother named Judy Hoff. Judy has a history of dalliances with women. Her husband isn't threatened.
He just thought it was great, turned him on. But then I met this person and fell head over heels. We got a divorce, we moved in together, and the rest is history.
We're going to Lewisburg and to Millie's bookstore, the Coffee Hound.
Carol and Judy motor along happily in a committed lesbian relationship for years. But in 1996, a health scare tilts their world on its axis. Carol has breast cancer and needs a mastectomy. She survives the cancer, but losing the breast stirs up long suppressed feelings.
It was a relief to get rid of it. And I think that's the first little clue I got that maybe I was transgendered after all, because after all these years of just putting that aside. And I immediately wanted the other one off.
Did you see where I hung your pictures?
Yes, they look great.
Carol restarts her life as Macklin, Mac for short, and starts using male pronouns. But he needs more. He needs to be physically transformed. He begins taking testosterone in 1999 and saves money to have his other breast removed.
All right, thanks.
Let you know how it goes.
All righty.
As for Judy, she goes from a heterosexual relationship to a lesbian relationship, and now, with her partner's transition, to something else entirely.
A lot of people have asked me if I'm still a lesbian, and the answer is I really don't know. I have had to give up, turn in my lesbian card. It's a question I can't answer. I know that I love this person who's with me, and I want to stick with him forever. And it's just not about body parts anymore. We've been together through a lot, and he's stuck with me, and I've stuck with him, and golly, have we stuck together. We've had quite a life over the 20 years we've been together.
Okay, kiddos.
But as Mac advances further into manhood, body parts do begin to matter. One body part in particular, a penis. After graduating from high school in 1987, Eric, at that time Diane, marries her boyfriend of 2 years. Throughout their courtship, they bond, not surprisingly, over guy stuff.
We had a lot in common. We liked to drive around in hot rod cars and work on it. When I graduated, we had a place and we moved in together. So I think back now, I was hoping everything would fall into place, that, oh, finally, this is what I am and this is who I am. This is completing me. I'm going to feel normal. I'm going to feel like myself.
But 2 weeks into the marriage, Diane is shocked to learn she's pregnant. She has her first child at 19, her second at 22. Along with her second pregnancy comes a deep depression.
It's like, okay, something's still not fitting. I knew after that I was never gonna get kids. There's no way I could do it. I still didn't know what was really going on, but I knew that it was not okay for me.
Plagued by her old demons, Diane retreats into drugs. the marriage begins to crumble.
It got to a point to where we were fighting and it got extreme. And I left the household one day with my children and didn't come back.
After the breakup, Diane gets involved with a woman, but she finds being a lesbian isn't the answer either. She goes into therapy and in 1999 is diagnosed with gender identity disorder.
It was overwhelming, but it was almost like, oh, an answer.
By 2001, Eric is living full-time as a man. He has top surgery, a double mastectomy to voluntarily remove both breasts. He starts male hormones, and he legally changes his name. But his transition still doesn't feel complete. From the waist down, Eric is still undeniably female. When he learns about his surgery to create a penis, he decides he can't live without it. For Patrick, who at 40 is now close with his 4 children, he's even helping raise his young grandson. The decision to have bottom surgery is purely practical. He and Amy, his partner of 3 years, want his legal documents to say he's male. And his legal documents can't say he's male unless he has bottom surgery.
I'm from a state that says on their birth certificate it is a recording of your birth gender, not what you are today. So I absolutely can never have my birth certificate changed. So I have no choice but to go get a U.S. passport, and U.S. passport says you must have a lower surgery.
It's a widely held belief in the transgender community that genitals don't make the man or the woman. Patrick, Eric, and Mac all respect that philosophy. They live by it for years. But they're all living full-time as men. They still want what they feel nature denied them.
I still am under the impression it's really going to blow my mind. It's wonderful to live in this day and age when we can help people be complete.
These 3 men have all chosen the same doctor to perform the same surgery on the same day. They're about to journey from 3 different parts of the country and converge in Trinidad, Colorado, with one dream. Coming up next, the doctor who will help make them the men they are longing to be.
You'll get a fair amount of length and it'll definitely look like a penis.
And then, the surgery itself. How does a female become a male from the waist down?
We're releasing the phallus so it can stand independently, so to speak.
When Born in the Wrong Body continues. When biological females transition to male, much of the changeover is mental. In fact, most female to males never even end up having bottom surgery.
What are you doing?
But Eric does want the physical change and is having sexual reassignment surgery in 3 days.
It's good to see you, love. Come in.
He's driven from his hometown in Wyoming to nearby Thermopolis to pick up his friend Dava. She'll be making the 600-mile journey with him to Trinidad, Colorado.
I met Dava through some common friends, and we hit it off right away. It was like we were meant to be friends. Are we good? Yes. You ready? You're heavy.
Ow!
Do you have a jacket?
Lord of mercy,
that's cold.
No. Alrighty. We're on our way. Headed for Trinidad, Colorado. This is it. We're really on our way. Your size. What happened to the
Mac and Judy are getting ready to say goodbye to their North Carolina kennel and their 50 or so canine charges.
I am definitely more nervous than Mac. I think he's pretty laid back about this. I think he's been thinking about it a lot longer than I have.
Momentarily. Not bad now.
Yeah.
You have a breeze. Oh, nice.
Yeah, it does feel good.
By mid-afternoon, Mac and Judy make it into Colorado Springs, just an hour and a half from Trinidad.
It's rolling.
Rolling. Yeehaw. It's like gorgeous. That's gorgeous. Oh my gosh. It looks like it's maybe 30 minutes from here. Trinidad, there's a woohoo! Wait. Let's see what it says. Save the best for last. Live theater.
After a few wrong turns, Mac and Judy get to their motel.
Oh my. Oh yeah, this is definitely funky. We're gonna get into our room, and which is number 19, and it's a no smoking room. And I hear dogs barking, so I already feel at home.
Not bad.
TV works.
Unpacked, Mac heads straight to the TV.
I wanted to see if all my channels work, and if they didn't, they'd have to give us another room.
By late evening, Eric and Dava make it across the state line and deep into Colorado.
It is 8:20 p.m. We have been driving for what, 9-10 hours? We've been through Cheyenne, Denver, Pueblo. We're about 60 miles from Trinidad right now.
Finally, 12 hours after they set out, they arrive in Trinidad, exhausted but excited.
We're here, we're here. This trip has a ending of sorts. You know, I'm not coming down for the consultation. I'm coming down here and it's like something's happening, a process that I started a long time ago is finally starting to see an end.
But just as they're ready for a much-needed rest, a hitch in their plans.
We've pulled up to the motel. I'm excited to get my room and nobody's here. Oh well, we'll go find another motel and we're here.
When we come back, everyone meets the doctor
So you made it to Trinidad.
and prepares for the most dramatic change of their lives.
Nobody's gonna look twice and go, that's not, it's definitely a penis.
And how will having this new body part affect their lives in ways they can't imagine?
This is great.
When Born in the Wrong Body returns. Trinidad, Colorado. Population 10,000. This dusty frontier town, set between two mountain peaks on the Santa Fe Trail, is an unlikely candidate to become the country's sex change capital. But it has, and it is.
Hey, this is Trinidad, Colorado, where men are men and women are too.
How did this one-time mining town become a sex change mecca? It all starts back in 1969, when a beloved family practitioner in Trinidad, Dr. Stanley Biber, performs the procedure on a colleague. Soon others come for sexual reassignment surgery, and before long, it's a cottage industry. 5,000 patients later, at age 80, Dr. Biber handpicks a successor, an OBGYN from Seattle named Marcy Bowers. Dr. Biber died in 2006.
Marcy, God sent. So, see, we're standing in front of a church and God is taking care of us. He sent us Marcy after Dr. Biber died.
Hello? Hi there.
Dr. Bowers is an appropriate choice to take over for Dr. Biber, considering her own story. Until the mid-1990s, she was Dr. Mark Bowers of Seattle, Washington.
I told my spouse that I wanted to live the rest of my life as a woman Christmas night, 1996. It was inherently deceitful in a way, and it was a bad thing to do in a marriage, but yet it was just the only path I could take.
Since transitioning, Dr. Bowers has remained married to the mother of her 3 children. They're raising their kids in Seattle, where she maintains an office and returns every month or so.
This is the first year I really had a real garden, so.
In addition to having a spouse in Seattle,
Lovey.
Dr. Bowers has a romantic partner in Trinidad.
This is Carol, my partner of 3 years, long years.
Long.
Laura, they're long.
Marcy, I can't reach that up there to get that.
Which one?
The
This one?
blender.
The two women met when they were challenged to a golf match at the course where Carol used to work as a pro. She had no idea Marcy was, as Carol affectionately puts it, a changer.
After the round, my best friend said, yeah, you know Marcy's a changer. And I said, no. She said, yeah. I said, and she goes, and she's a doctor. I said, oh my God, you're kidding me. She goes, she's taking over Dr. Biber's place. I couldn't believe it. I was like, she's really not really a, because I always thought Marcy was a woman.
I am a woman.
Yeah.
In the few years she's been in Trinidad, Dr. Bowers has already performed nearly 100 sexual reassignment surgeries, which she prefers to call genital reassignment surgery, since she says it's about genitalia, not about sex. Her office gets hundreds of inquiries a week from prospective patients. Dr. Bowers and her staff respond to each and every one. Monday morning, the day all three patients have their preoperative appointments, Dr. Bowers heads out to the office in style.
Got a Porsche in the garage, and I mean, what else do I need in life? I mean, what am I gonna get, a Ferrari? That's not a woman's car anyway.
By noon, all three patients arrive at Dr. Bowers' office. Patrick and Amy from North Dakota.
Let's go check in. Hey, my name is Patrick.
Hi, I'm Ann. How do you do?
Very well, and yourself?
Mac and Judy from North Carolina.
I'm checking in for a noon appointment. Mac McCord.
And Eric and his friend Dava from Wyoming.
That's it over there.
Hello?
As soon as they all fill out their paperwork, get weighed in,
I have stuff in my pocket, so I get a deduction.
Okay.
and have their blood pressure checked,
Okay, let's go ahead and get the blood pressure reading.
it's time for all three to meet the doctor who will change their lives.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Just like the picture. Hey, small world.
I know it hasn't been very long, has it?
I know that good-looking face
hug.
here. How are you? Hi, Patrick. Great to see you. Welcome.
Dr. Bowers meets with each patient for about half an hour, bonding with them, going over details, answering questions about tomorrow's surgery, called metoidioplasty.
What we do is we release the phallus from the labia minora
Okay.
all the way back to the pubic bone.
Okay.
This way you're going to see it's definitely a penis, but you can't pee through it.
A scheduling snafu on this particular afternoon has landed all three patients with Dr. Bowers at the same time. As a result, she races back and forth between exam rooms, seemingly nonstop.
We've talked about scheduling previously, but it was not scheduled very well today. And then you come in tomorrow at 9 a.m.
9?
Wait, let me think. Wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
That's too
We
late.
might have celebrated too soon.
8:30.
8:30.
We'll give you that half hour.
I think that might even be too late. 8 o'clock.
She's gonna keep thinking and get us there at 6.
If I keep going down to 6, you'll know we're in trouble. No, at 8, that's my final offer.
Okay.
When we come back, the big day, the surgery they've been anxiously awaiting.
We're headed to the OR.
Woohoo! Booties! Oh, frickin'
And the results. Will these men get the outcomes they've been dreaming of?
About a thumb size. Not too bad. All right, thank you.
When Born in the Wrong Body returns. Since 1969, more than 5,000 people have walked into this hospital with one set of genitals and walked out with another.
we're headed to the OR.
Mac, the dog handler from North Carolina, is scheduled to be Dr. Bauer's first surgery of the day.
I think this is the last step for me as far as my journey into where I want to be. It seems like it's the last piece, the last little cog to fall in place.
I'm curious how we're going to end up, you know, what sort of results we'll have. But I'm clear he's always going to be the man I love, you know, no matter what's between his legs.
Patrick is surgery number 2 on the books this morning. At the moment, his partner Amy seems more emotionally fragile than he does.
You give me a kiss? Can I give her a kiss?
Sure. Okay, we'll see you in a little bit. I always cry. I can't help it.
I love tears. Tears are good. Tears wash away all the pain. So it's good. We'll take good care of him, okay?
Okay.
Eric will be Dr. Bauer's 3rd surgery. He arrives around 8 o'clock as negotiated the day before.
It's 8:10 right now, and I woke up at 7:30. Kind of remember the alarm going off, and then the next thing you know, she's like, "Eric, are you awake?"
There you go, I'm back.
I'm ready.
And I'll see you in a little bit.
The door's open.
Before the big moment, a series of the mundane, getting IVs inserted,
I hate IVs.
Yeah, they're hard.
getting blood pressure checked again,
Just need to get your blood pressure.
and filling out yet more paperwork.
Right there.
Finally, it's showtime. Mac is up first.
See you, honey.
Bye.
Well, Marcy, how are you today?
You'll get a fair amount of length with this. I think that more than I thought, actually, when I saw him yesterday.
Mac has waited his whole life to have this surgery. And like the other procedures today, it'll all be over in less than 1 hour.
Can we have this on 5042?
5042, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
When a female patient takes testosterone, the clitoris grows. This surgery, metoidioplasty, which costs about $3,000, frees the enlarged clitoris all the way back to the pubic bone and reconfigures it so it becomes, in effect, a small penis. They still have to sit down when they urinate, but their new penis can achieve erection and orgasm, though it does not ejaculate.
We're releasing the phallus so it can stand independently, so to speak. Secondly, that is rounded up and made to look like a penis, which it will here in a few minutes.
A different type of surgery called phalloplasty takes skin from another part of the body and uses it to create a large penis. With the help of a urologist, the penis can have a urinary hookup. A growing number of female to males and some surgical advocates, like Dr. Bowers, are not fans of that procedure.
I do not perform phalloplasties at all. I don't think they look good. They don't function very well. You have to put a rod in, for example, to have intercourse. The urinary tract doesn't work particularly well. They scar. And then there's a lot of doctors that don't even mess with the urinary hookup, and they still charge them a bundle of money just to have this big floppy, elephant trunk hanging down there. I like this procedure that I do because it's natural, no tissues are moved, patients can feel things, they can penetrate even, and it looks good. About a thumb size, not too bad. All right, thank you.
Mac's surgery is done. 2 more to go.
So good to see you.
I feel very relieved to see Mac right now. He looks great. I see that smile and I know he's going to be fine. Just what I wanted.
Smile like a popsicle. There you go. Bada bing, bada boom.
Next up, Patrick. Dr. Bowers makes the first cut around 10 a.m. Other procedures transgender men can have include hysterectomies to remove their female reproductive organs and testicular implants, which today's patients chose not to have.
Some of the guys don't want testicles because they're uncomfortable, and it feels for a while like you're sitting on something, you know, sitting on a couple of eggs or something. And they're harder, you know, it's silicone, so it's a little harder than a natal testicle.
That can always be done later. For now, Patrick will stick with just a penis. What's important to remember is with female to males, size doesn't necessarily matter. Just having the equipment is enough.
It's not big, but it works and it's real. Okay, thank you. All right. Oh.
Finally, it's Eric's turn.
Are you relaxed? Good. You're about to get more relaxed.
Everybody's moving really well, so. That's his penis. He's got a penis. Okay, I'll take the wrap. All right, thank you. That worked out well. That was, I think, our best effort of the morning.
All 3 patients have now completed their physical transformations. They're exhausted, but thrilled the procedure is now behind them.
Yes, I'm a happy man right now. Got my popsicle, got some tea. Got Judy right here.
And you got a penis.
Yes. I assume it's there. We haven't gotten acquainted yet. That will come later.
I feel like I'm all like happy now, like it's done.
I feel very happy that Patrick is now Patrick.
The reassignment surgery is a small part of the process, really. In fact, it's probably the most insignificant part in terms of your social presentation. These are people that have socially transitioned and emotionally transitioned long ago. You would call them men 6 months ago, a year ago. You know, they're men. And the surgery is just kind of icing on the cake, I think, for that.
When we come back, life after surgery. How much will things really change?
Now they have this appendage on your body, and it's like, well, hi.
I'm engaged. We now have plans to actually get married.
When Born in the Wrong Body continues.
Not rude.
It's been 6 weeks since Mac has had sexual reassignment surgery. You might think having a penis now after living without one for nearly 60 years would be somewhat life-altering. But for the most part, Mac has just picked up where he left off. He's still driving to dog shows every weekend in the same old motorhome, and he's still running his clients' dogs around the ring competing for Best in Show.
Good, guys.
The difference is more subtle. He says it simply feels right, and it feels uncomplicated.
Mikey is still back there. He's the last one that needs to come in.
Okay.
Looking back, Mac has only one regret about the surgery, not having done it sooner.
I don't think there's any point in dwelling on, gee, what could have been had we done this or that or the other thing. The fact is, I did get to do it, and I never thought I'd get to do it. Just as I'm ready for my close-up.
And now that he has done it, what about sex? Turns out Mac's been so busy on the dog show circuit, and frankly, he's still not fully healed from the surgery. He and Judy still haven't had a chance to have intercourse as husband and wife. And they are, now legally, husband and wife.
What you need in North Carolina is your driver's license and your social security number. I think I had that done on a Monday, and by Wednesday we went to the Justices of the Peace married. And then we stopped and we got a Food Lion cake and went to the local bookstore and had coffee and cake and went home and started bathing dogs to go to the dog show the next day. So We wanted to just go ahead and get it done, even though after 20 years it seems like an afterthought, but it's really wasn't. It was kind of a milestone.
7 weeks post-surgery, Patrick, the 40-year-old grandfather in North Dakota, is a lot more comfortable in his own skin.
Used to be I could not look down below. So it really was, there's just like this dividing line, you know, always before my life I pulled myself out of my body and kind of didn't participate in life. That was just something, now, you know, the lower part I didn't feel comfortable with. So since the surgery, to me it's quite, am I allowed to say fascinating? Or amazing, and it just feels so much more complete.
Like Mac, Patrick too is now officially recognized by the U.S. government as being male.
Did you want to see my passport, by the way?
Absolutely, yeah.
And it came back, there were no questions. Last time I fought with him for 6 months and got nowhere. I got a rejection letter saying, hey, when you decide to do it, everything you're asked to do, then reapply.
Now the one-time mother of 4 has another goal of manhood, to become a new father. He and Amy want to have a baby using a sperm donor. They will raise him, or her, alongside their young grandson.
I'm so happy with Amy. There's such a calm and peacefulness. Just things work for us, and I guess part of that happily ever after is starting a family and just moving forward with our life.
The surgery, Eric has moved to Montana to attend the University of Montana, where he's pursuing a degree in psychology. Life here is modest.
This is a trailer that I'm renting. That's the dump. That's why the trailer court's cheap.
He lives here with one of his teenage daughters. Besides his children, Eric's other pride and joy is his garden.
I got lots of tomatoes going. These are cucumbers and zucchinis. Ones you're stepping on are watermelons. That one's even ready.
Despite a minor complication with his surgery, which has since healed, Eric is pleased with his results.
I don't know, it's kind of weird. At times I feel like I have to talk to it or something because it's there. You know, it's like, hey, you're not used to anything being there, you know, now they have this appendage on your body and it's like, well, hi.
Eric's life is calmer now than ever before, a feeling that comes with knowing who he is and having a body that is finally aligned with his mind. What he wants now is to find someone to share his life with. That's his version of happily ever after.
I don't know, having a job I love and a person I love, I guess. Be in love.
Oh my gosh, look at the flowers. Somebody sent flowers.
As for Marcy Bowers, her practice has a waiting list of up to a year for sexual reassignment surgery.
Oh, thanks for everything from the bottom of my heart. Oh, that's really nice.
Dr. Bowers insists she's not correcting a cruel mistake on the part of nature or some bizarre medical condition. She calls being transgender a gift and says she feels blessed that helping people achieve their desired gender has become her life's work.
I think this is a very personal issue for me, and it has a lot of potential to improve the planet. You know, nothing short of that. I mean, that may sound grandiose, but I think it's really true that this is like the last frontier of the human mind.